my name's Roland Arriola, and I am the president of the Texas Valley Communities Foundation. It's an organization that was founded about 3 or 4 years ago, and it is designed to be very actively involved and engaged in the community. One of the things that the organization currently operates is what we call the ENCORE program, Engaging Communities for College Readiness, which is funded by the Gates Foundation. And one of the principal aspects of that is to reach out to parents, reach out to the business and the civic communities, and of course work hand in hand with students, teachers, and administrators. But of course the school districts take the lead on those things, and we provide assistance. One other program that we run is the Forward Pass program, which works with the school districts and assists them in providing training opportunities for professional development for teachers. Effective teaching, of course, one of the most important aspects. I want to thank, first of all, some of our sponsors for this event. First and foremost is our friend from AT&T, Sergio Contreras. Tonight, we want to honor a very, very special person. Now, I know most of you are too young to remember January 20, 1961, when President Kennedy gave his inaugural address. Some of you, I would say most of you, weren't even born. But I know Dr. Nevares was. He's here somewhere. Because I know he's just a few years older than me, and I was around. That was a day that President John F. Kennedy stood before the people of America and the entire world, and he announced that the torch had been passed to a new generation of Americans. And he went on to say that this generation was born in the 20th century. It was tempered by war. It was disciplined by a hard and bitter peace. They were proud of their ancient heritage, and they were unwilling to witness or permit the slow undoing of those human rights to which this nation has always been committed. Well, I was 12 years old when President Kennedy made that speech, and Congressman Ruben Hinojosa was probably in his late teens. But I can tell you, from following his career over the years, that he had to be one of those young Americans who heard President Kennedy and who accepted the president's challenge to make this country a better place. Throughout his life, Congressman Hinojosa has been the voice for groups who have been left behind in our educational system. Low-income families, minorities, students with disabilities, and the children of migrant and seasonal farmers. And in his very illustrative way, in his strong-fisted way, I should say, he has carried the torch and led efforts to provide additional funding for programs like Gear Up, TRIO, and many, many others. Now, as chairman of the Subcommittee on Higher Education, he spearheaded the passage of the Higher Education Opportunity Act, which puts smart strategies in place to improve our student aid process, restore confidence in student loan programs, and provide more low-income, first-generation, and minority students a chance to pursue a college education. The Higher Education Opportunity Act will increase the authorized Pell Grant maximum to $8,000 by 2014. That is an amazing accomplishment. It will also streamline the federal financial aid application process and increase college aid and support programs for veterans. You know, the philosopher Bertrand Russell once said that some men see things as they are and ask why. I dream of things that never were and say, why not? Well, if you know the Congressman very well, you know that he has always been a person who dreams of things that never were and says, why not? And then he proceeds to make them happen. Well, tonight, because of all the wonderful things that he's done throughout his life for his support of education, not only in college level, but all the way from kinder, elementary, high school, we thought that it'd be appropriate to recognize him and present to him the first annual Torch Award for making sure that the dream of higher education does not die for millions of Americans because of inadequate college preparation, the increasing cost of tuition, or the lack of student aid. Congressman, I want to present to you, if Gilbert gives me a hand here, this Torch Award, which says the Engaging Communities for College Readiness ENCORE Torch Award 2009 in presentation to Ruben Hinojosa, Member of Congress, for his passionate and unrelenting leadership and for carrying the torch to engage communities and build partnerships with civic organizations, small business corporations, and other institutions to enhance educational opportunities for all. Congressman Hinojosa.
Thank you, brother. Rolando and Gilbert and all of your staff, thank you for this fantastic reception, this beautiful award. I walked in and I expected to have maybe 20 or 40 people, and I couldn't even find a place to park out there. I usually park right in front of the building, and I moved and moved. I think I parked in Leticia Hinojosa's parking space half a mile down. And I said, there must be something big going on here. So thank you for such a showing, the outpour of nice words that have been said while I worked the room and said hello to as many people as I could. It made my heart swell with pride that the work that I have done from the very beginning, when I first ran for the local school board and then for the Texas State Board of Education, and listening to Rolando on some of those earlier positions that I held, I wondered what in the world I was doing in trying to champion special populations on the Texas State Board of Education, fighting for the migrant and seasonal farm workers, fighting for the new law that had been passed by the legislature known as Senate Bill number 1, requiring bilingual education be offered to English language learners in our state. And then to listen to the mothers of children with disabilities, and fourth, those who were fortunate to have children in the Gifted and Talented program. All four of those were the programs under the responsibility of as chairman of that Special Populations Committee on the State Board of Education.